Welcome, everybody. This is the CyphaDen Chat in association with the Denku Podcast. I'm your host, Tayamu Denku. I got my co-host with me, Muy More Pesto Pestilence. Yeah, you always got the crazy names for the damn meetings, man. But yeah, Pestilence in the house. And tonight, special guests, touring artist, the ambassador, the man behind Real MCs Don't Rap Over Their Vocals, the movement. He just got back from tour recently. Marcel P. Black in the house. How you doing, man?
I'm good. My hair brother's doing tonight.
Man,
Good.
it's actually I'm feeling great now because it's starting to cool off in Wisconsin. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people in the Wisconsin area, they're complain about the real hot weather. I don't really complain about it. I just don't like the crazy humidity on top of the hot weather. That's what I don't like.
What's hot weather in Wisconsin?
We've
It,
been
it
we've
was
been in
90 in Madison until like 9 p.m. on
yeah, we
Friday.
yeah, we've been in the 90s lately.
You realize it's August now. Well, I don't know. It's different in Oklahoma where I live now. But Louisiana, where I moved from, it's 90 like in October.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I
I know
couldn't
when
do it.
Remember the
I
first
know
time I
when
came Milwaukee in like 2018. I remember coming in like uh June. Or I remember one time I came in like June and I remember being cold. I remember it was like and for us, like 65 is cold.
Yeah, that sounds like June weather.
You know what I'm
I
saying? Like I'm used to like where I came from in Louisiana, it's like hot from pretty much late February until October. And so like by March comes, it's already 85, 90. You know what I'm saying? So like
Crazy.
when I hear 90 and it's hot, what is that? What is that? What is that?
Yeah, no, I feel you, man, because it was I definitely remember it being 80s in February when I toured in the wintertime one year when I hit New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I think it was 80s in February. Um it's crazy. You mentioned them coming up here in June and it being cold, like 65. I mean that is kind of like normal early June weather. But the crazy thing is, um, I just have to tell this because it's funny to me. Big Low used to try every month leading up to the summertime when he used to tour, and the first time I ever did a show with him, it was in October, cold as fuck. I think it flurried, and then he was like, "When should I come back?" I was like, "Man, I don't know, man. It's different all the time." So then he tried to book February, super cold, snow all on the ground. Then he was like, the next time he tried to book March, cold again, snow. Then he booked April, thinking he beat it. Finally, fucking snowed in April. And then he booked May, and it was one of those Mays when it fucking snowed. He literally came here when it snowed every fucking time on tour.
I learned my lesson in 2017. Uh I booked St. Louis and Chicago in December. And so in Louisiana, man, like there really was no reason to like buy a big coat. So like a hoodie, you're fine. You know what I'm saying? Or like a light jacket at best. Like if you go to the Burlingtons, like they don't even sell like big coats like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so all I had was like I had like a hoodie and I had like a bubble vest. And I remember being in Chicago. Me and Alfred Banks, we was leaving the hotel and we was putting and we somehow we stumbled across like a pretty nice hotel. It was like downtown or whatever, with all the tall ass buildings. And I remember like putting my bags in the back of the Uber, and the Hawk came around that corner, and it hit me, and it was like 19 degrees, and I don't know what the wind chill was, and I screamed bloody murder. Like I never, I like it felt like I was so cold. It felt like my whole body was like under cold water, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely keeping like in the in the South. You know what I'm saying? I can pretty much tour any time of year. When I go to New England or when I go to the Midwest, it got to be in the summertime because my country boy Southern body, I can't take it, bro. I can't take it.
I feel you. I mean, one of the worst things ever. I'll never forget it. One of the first times I tried to book a Southern tour. I mean, I had to start up here kind of because I had to work my way down there to make it make sense. Because I'm not going to drive like 15 hours to do my first show and shit.
That's the word.
So,
Got you.
so I booked Chicago and then Cincinnati and then Nashville. By the time I got to Nashville, it was straight. It was like, it wasn't crazy cold. It was probably like 60, like exactly 60 degrees, something like that. But this was the year of the polar vortex.
Mm.
2014.
And literally, not that one. Not that one. It was early 2019. It was
Okay.
negative 56 degrees with the wind chill in Chicago. They canceled the show. They literally asked me, they were like, "Hey, Denku, what you want to do, man? We could still rock if you want." But I said, "What?" I said, "Do you think anybody will come out?" And he was like, "Man, it says negative 56, man. I don't know." So I ended up getting a hotel outside of Chicago. It was so cold. It was so cold that the door was frozen on the inside. The door had frost on the inside of the door. It was frozen. It was so fucked. And then the next day, driving, I counted on the way to Cincinnati. I saw 58 semi trucks broke down on the side of the road because they just couldn't make it. Broke down the side of the road. A dam broke, and there was rushing water instantly freezing when it reached, like instantly frozen, all this steam coming up crazy. And they got to Cincinnati, -2. I was like, oh, this is better. But for most people, it's not, right? But people came out. People came out in -2 in Cincinnati. But yeah, that was the craziest first start to a tour ever. It was the coldest shit ever. So next time, Marcel, when you think of your story of the super cold, think of that
Like,
shit.
I can't even I can't even compute that. My southern mind, I can't even wrap my brain around negative 56 wind chill. That's absolutely insane. Like
it's it's something else, man.
that's
You
like
feel it in your bones.
Yeah, it's real
that's like
bad.
Antarctica numbers, bro. Like that don't even make no sense, bro. That's like you gotta be a penguin to be able to thug in that shit, or
Yeah, it's real bad. It's real bad. Um,
And there's still some dude outside in shorts and a t-shirt out
especially
here.
in Milwaukee or
Yes,
Wisconsin.
there's
Yes, they
always the
do that.
dude walking around in shorts and a t-shirt
Stupid
in that
shit.
weather.
The dumbest shit I ever see in my whole life. And then they'll be like,
listen,
it's not even cold, like making a joke. I'm like, motherfucker.
There's
Like you're
frost on your skin.
like you're gonna be frostbit in like another 5 minutes. Like you're fucked. But yeah, there are crazies that do that shit. I honestly, when shit like that happens, I have no idea how the homeless community survives that. I
I
have
think
no
about that all
idea.
the time, man. Cause there's a huge homeless population in Tulsa. It's crazy because I read it might have been on NPR or maybe I read it somewhere, but like Tulsa is a destination for houseless people. So homeless people from all over the country
Hmm.
come to Tulsa for some reason to be homeless. And I can't remember the reason. I gotta find an article or whatever. So there's a large homeless population here, like way more than when I saw when I was living in Baton Rouge or whatever. And so I think about that all the time, man. Like with the rain or the floods or the storms when it's freezing like that. Like I know a lot of them here, like they go to sleep at the parks, but it's like, man, that ain't gonna keep you dry or keep you warm. So like I think about that all the time, man.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know how they do it. Plus, they Milwaukee started cracking down on it. kind of crazy. There was an entire tent city at one point underneath the freeways, and they weren't even really bothering nobody really, but they cut that whole shit down. And I have no idea where those people went. I don't know what happened to them, but yeah, definitely fucked up. I actually wanted to know, you recently got off tour.
Yes, sir.
What is your comparison? Because I don't think we actually, I don't know if we actually had a conversation in person of this. What is your comparison of touring now compared to before the world shut down?
Uh, Guarantees are less. Um, and that's based on uh the attendance being less. But I think people are buying like apparel more than they're buying music. Like I felt like I sold more CDs before the pandemic or whatever. Now I sell more T-shirts. Like
Hmm.
people are more willing to spend. I sold my railroad T-shirts for 35, and people are more willing to spend 35. A lot of times they just give me 40 and not even tell me keep the change for the same shirts I was selling for 20, 25 before. But then they're not really buying CDs like that. So like before, when I went on like let's say I dropped a project and I did like a tour or whatever, I went on a run, I would order, I would use Kunaki and I would order maybe 150, 200 CDs. You know what I'm saying? Now I'll just get 50. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But I'm selling way more T-shirts or whatever, and that's like that's like the majority. And so that kind of like evens it up. But yeah, I also think that like a lot of the DIY venues have shut down or what have you. A lot of them have shut down if they've been bought up. Um, I think that now people are more likely to come out to a bigger event as opposed to like they'll wait for like a big name person to come through or like a big festival then
Hmm.
come out to like a especially like a pop-up show. Like of course like you go to New England, they got they monthlies and they week or they bi-weeklies, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of established. Those things are still holding pretty consistent. But it's like, popping up and doing a show on the Tuesday night in wherever or Thursday night in wherever, it's a little bit more difficult because people just aren't coming out during the week like that or have you. And especially where it's really, it has a lot to do with where you are, what time of the year. But that's what some of the main things I see. I think, yeah, I mean, that's the main difference. Like it's not for me. I can say I did a fairly decent tour summer 22 as well as this summer as well. And that's kind of been the main difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing I noticed is there's a lot of venue closings, is what I noticed. A lot of the go-to venues, um, especially the main venue I used to always book in Des Moines, closed. I could tell you 4 venues I used to book in Milwaukee all closed down permanently. You know what I'm saying? And they're still closing now. And I don't know if that has to do with, people spending less at the places because of the inflation, because of the prices going up on everything. You know what I'm saying? Um, I guess I'm not really sure. But you saying those things, touring as an independent artist, still being able to do it. I mean, obviously it's a problem with everyone because we're seeing major tours canceling. Like I saw AZ's tour, summer tour canceled,
Busta
cause
Rhymes, his own individual tour.
yeah, cause ticket sales are down. Like people
And,
ain't trying to go out.
and another thing too, and I'm glad you said that. A lot of rappers who was rapping in 2019, 2020 ain't rapping no more. Like, especially Deku, you and I close to the same age. And so like the guys who were 36, 37 in 2019, 2020, now that they're 40, 41, they're not rapping no more. You know what I'm saying? And so now there's a newer crop of rappers, which is a good thing, right? It should replenish, right? There's a newer crop of rappers coming up but there's less OGs on the scene, so to really balance it out. You know what I'm saying? They kind of like keep the culture intact. Like to me, the best hip hop scenes have a good mixture of young guys and older guys to make sure it's like, hey, you have your older guys who are like, okay, look, we might rap every now and then, but we're here in the building to make sure it's done correctly. You know what I'm saying? To guide
Yeah.
the younger guys. And so a lot of people from our generation, our era, they, and understood to be so, right? You're not making no money by it. Your wife is like, okay, whatever, just don't do it no more, what have you. And so, so you stay at home with your wife and kids. Now your kids might be in high school, you have other stuff to do. So that's been a big difference. Like watching, like for me, like going to Birmingham and I'm talking to rappers who are 21 and they're calling me sir because I'm old. I'm
Mm.
the same age as their father. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah.
that's been an interesting thing. And then another thing too is as far as touring, like so you having a lot of the major like Live Nation and those major companies, Winter Circle or whatever, they've bought up a lot of venues. And so now, if you're an artist, kind of like an older act or a legacy act, if you're not playing those big stages, which you really can't sell like that, you're playing smaller venues. So, we both go play at Shaskin. I've seen Pharaoh Monch, several times play there, or KRS-One. This is a 200 cap room, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or I remember I did a show 2 summers ago in Oakland, and I want to say who was there the week before me. I can't remember, but it was like a West Coast legend. You know what I'm saying? And so like you're seeing these legendary artists if because they're not connected to Live Nation or these bigger touring companies, they're playing smaller rooms, which is cool for the fan because now you get to see this rapper in a 200 room for like maybe $30 or whatever. But sometimes it can make it difficult on us who we're like a step below, or we're a step below them, or we just ain't got a hit record that came out 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah.
so that's something else interesting that I've seen or have you. And honestly, like I love playing small venues. Like I don't even try to like if I have the opportunity, I remember if I have the opportunity to do like, hey, you can book my venue. Do you want this 200-person room? You want the 75-person room? Give me the 75 first. Let's pack the 75 out and
I
then let's
feel
move up
that.
to 100. Like I don't, you know, I love a small venue. You know what I'm saying? And I'm appreciative of the small venue owners who still, you know what I'm saying, still rock with us after all this time or whatever. So um yeah, that's enough. Because I played a couple shows on the southern leg of the tour to where uh 60 people in a 600 cap room.
Mm.
Right. I'm appreciative of the opportunity, you know what I'm saying?
That was
But
the theater show? The theater show?
that was one of I was so the theater show was I think it might have been like a 300 cap room,
Mm.
and we might have had 30 people there. You know what I'm saying? That was in Birmingham, but in Baton Rouge, where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? A Thursday night. You know what I'm saying? I haven't performed in Baton Rouge proper since I moved, and really like the last show I did in Baton Rouge before I moved, it was at a barbershop. It was during the pandemic, so I hadn't performed in Baton Rouge at a real venue since like 2019. And so my first time coming back, they took care of me. They showed me love. Blah 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 blah. I'm glad I got the venue. I'm glad I got to do it. I got to see like a lot of old. So basically, it was two venues that I used to play shows at a lot, and they both closed down, but they bought a building together. So I got to see like a lot of like vintage stuff. But it was 60 people in a 600 cap room. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man. Look, I'm with all the DIY joints, the smaller rooms or whatever. Like and like I said, yeah, like just where the culture is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what Cesar Comanche man said. He said, "Rap where your fans are." You know what I'm saying? And I took it a step further,
Yeah.
like go where the culture is. And the culture has. I mean, it's always gonna be there, but it moves around. The pandemic moved everything around. So
Yeah, man. Pesto, you got something?
Well, I mean, kind of in line with what he was saying, what you're saying about like there being a good mix of OGs and young dudes. I'm kind of in a weird stasis, right? Because I'm in the middle of that. I'm 30, but I didn't start rapping until like 6 years ago. So it's like I found hip hop completely by accident, stumbling into something, and it changed my life forever. And it's been a primary focus for me. But because of my background, I immediately find in this like as a beacon of something. It's made me want to learn as much as I can and be able to establish things and do things. So I've had a hunger to learn how to book shows, learn how to do these different things, learn how to mix my own music, get my own setup, do all my own stuff, have merch, do the stuff the right way, not rap over vocals. But I think that the thing that I've noticed to be a big difference between me and like what I would consider to be my peers, of people that are just starting relatively not that long ago. Most of those cats are a lot younger than I am, and it doesn't seem to be as much of a focus on the. I feel like the technology kind of interrupts this. It's like if you wanted to rap 20 years ago, you had to want to rap to even get to a point where you're recording your stuff. Nowadays people are doing it on their phone. People are doing it on a computer with no good mic setup, and they're able to. It's quick accessibility for everybody. But I think it gets rid of that funnel that weeds out the people that want to do it on the outside and the people that really want to do it. Do you think that that's something that you've noticed as well from like as somebody that's been doing it for a long time?
So this last school year, me and my partner Steph Simon, um, he started a record label at the school that I taught at, and we taught kids how to rap. You know what I'm saying? And we recorded the album with them. And the way they engage and approach hip hop, or just approach rap, is completely different. When I was in high school, my father was a gospel musician, God bless his soul, and we had an 8-track recorder, like an analog recorder. And so it took me and my partner Nkosi a whole summer to record a 4-song demo. Was it either three or four, it might be 4-song demo, which is about 14 minutes. And so once we mixed it to the best we possibly could on the tapes. And then we had to put it from tape to CD. And that took us 14 minutes. And then if we wanted to put the music out, so this is like 2002, this is about 2000, 2001. And so we had to, now we got it on CD. If we wanted to burn a CD, a 3 or 4 song CD took the length of the music to burn. So imagine it taking 14 to 15 minutes to burn 50 CDs with only 3 or 4 songs on it. And then we had to get our CDRs and write our names on it, and then go outside to the community center or try to find a talent show. Or we would go where there's playing basketball. When everybody was leaving, we would just start freestyling and then passing out our CDs. While I grew up in Southern Oklahoma, there was no quote unquote hip hop radio station. So if I wanted my music heard, there was no Gmail. You couldn't send an MP3, right? So if I wanted my music heard, I had to either put my music in the mail, or I would hop in my friend's car and we would drive 100 miles north to Oklahoma City or 100 miles south to Dallas. You know what I'm saying? And like, so you had people who freestyled, you had people who battled, and that was fun. You freestyle at the lunch table, you freestyle, um, you know what I'm saying, at the back of the bus. But then you had the people who actually did talent shows, and you had people who actually tried to record, and it was a difference. Y'all doing it for fun out here. We really like going the extra mile to make sure we're recording our stuff, to make sure that we're performing in front of people or whatever. And so it's absolutely, and so like so back then it's like, if you're paying for studio time, it wasn't time to fuck around. Like you wrote your
Mhm.
rhymes. Like I never, to this day, I don't like writing in the studio. Like if I'm booked for a record, you know what I'm saying? My stuff is written. I've rehearsed it as much as I possibly can until I feel comfortable. And I'm knocking it out. I'm not writing in the studio. I'm not stopping. I'm not going. Literally, one of the biggest struggles I had when we had our studio class was the kids didn't want to write. They want to punch in one line at a time, one bar at a time. And it was awful. Like so they definitely couldn't count bars or whatever. But like, um, but like trying to get them just to write an 8-bar verse was like pulling teeth. That's the boys. The girls can do it. The girls, the girls are much better artists than the boys, right? So um I think that, and I don't blame it on the young people. I think at a certain point, as a generation shifted and the way technology and culture shifted. You know, you bringing in social media and you bringing in like all these different platforms, things of that nature. I think rapping came less of an outlet to express yourself, and making sure that you keep the skill and the culture and the history intact. And it just became more of just a quick lick or something cool to do. You know what I'm saying, with your friends. And I don't blame the young artists for that, because I understand how media works. I understand how industry works, and they probably like the people who run the industry probably prefer it to be like that. They want the dumbest kids ever, the people with the least knowledgeable people to make the most possible amount of money of them with little to no control. And honestly, I think that you know, I'm born. I'm a early millennial, right? But I come up under Gen X law. I think a lot of people my age uh did not do a great job of, like, when I was a teenager in my early 20s, anybody 10 to 15 years older than me, I listened to everything they had to say, right? I don't think that people my age did a good job of reaching back to the next generation without like putting them down. Like I think a lot of us spend so much time putting the next generation down, but they don't want to listen to us. And I say this as not only as a rapper, but I'm a teacher. I say this as a classroom teacher. I say this as a mental health counselor. Like literally, me, like my day job has been working with teenagers for the last 20 years, 20 plus years, right? Like whenever. So I see where the communication between generations has not been the best, and there has not been a lot of there's a disconnect to where the young artists feel like they don't want to listen to us, and the older people feel like they don't want to listen, and nobody, and so it's a lot of talking at each other or ignoring each other. Nobody really listens, and so me as a elder statesman, you know what I'm saying, especially like a person that's been doing it for a long time or whatever. Like I try to make sure there's like I try my best to uh prioritize the importance of culture. And when I say culture, I'm like, you don't have to rap like me. I don't have to like your style. But if you understand the history of hip hop, if you understand the different craft and the different skill, whatever, you respect the culture of it or whatever, and then it's gonna shine through. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so um I think the culture is missing. I think it's a culture war that we absolutely that we been getting our ass kicked. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so like for us, artists of a certain age and from a different era, we had to be mindful of that or whatever. Like a lot of these kids, and this is slightly related, but I was talking to a kid in my class and he had done something pretty crazy, right? And I was like, "Who raised you?" He was like, "Nobody." I said,
Damn.
"Dang." You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
a lot of them, be it whatever regular life or hip hop or whatever, a lot of them just don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know any better. They don't know any better or whatever. And so I think that's what it is. Like so for me, like, hey man, let's okay, cool. You like Rick Ross? Let me show you some Biggie. Okay, now every kid likes Tupac. Like that's like the one universal artist, right? Every kid, no matter what race, whatever, they understand they rock with Tupac. Okay, well you rock with Tupac. Tupac was influenced by Public Enemy. Tupac influenced this person, whatever. Let me put you up on this too. You know what I'm saying? If you like Rod Wave because he's emotional and he talks about his feelings from whatever, listen to some Scarface.
Mm.
And look how they did it. Oh, you think he's a good rapper? Let's break down the way Black Thought as an MC. You know what I'm saying? And so I found
Yeah.
that works better. That works better as an educator, a hip hop educator, than saying y'all suck, y'all don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, like
Mm.
just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
totally chastise them or whatever. And so it's up to us to be like, all right, and some of them gonna listen, some of them ain't gonna listen. But I think it's something because for me, man, my daughter's going into high school, my son's going into seventh grade. I want them to experience hip hop in real time and love it. Like I I get often frustrated. Of course I love the classics, but it's 2024. I'm tired of hearing Ready to Die when I go out.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? something that came out 30 years ago because this particular level of quality isn't deemed uh good enough for us to play, because we have it is out there, but like, what I'm saying? So in 2034, I want them to be listening to hip hop, some dope, fresh hip hop that's actually reflective. You know what I'm saying? It's not stuck in the 90s or it's stuck in the 2000s. It's still dope, but it's still dope in real time.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the way we do that with young artists is like show them the culture and show them that hip hop is not dead. It is an ever evolving culture. And it might sound different from what we do or whatever, but to me, I'm real big on cultural intention. Like it doesn't have to, and I think I'm like that because I'm a Southerner. Because if you don't understand Southern culture, what you might hear, people be like, that's not hip hop, because you don't understand like the conditions in which this person made this song. Why does the beat sound like that? Why is his accent like that? Why is he talk like this? What is he talking about? Right. So to me, as a Southerner who's also a backpacker, I'm really big on like finding the intention behind the hip hop. Like, what is your
Hmm.
creative intention? What are you trying to say? What created this? What was your stimuli? You know what I'm saying? And I think that like if we teach the stimuli, we will be able to find the arts. You know what I'm saying? That we really did. And so I mean that's pretty much my focus.
That's what's up, man. Touch on a lot of different things there that made me think of different topics and idea. Oh, did we lose him? His
No, I
phone.
think it just threw a background on. Oh.
Oh,
I mean, somebody call my phone. I'm
all
good.
right. That's what I thought happened, but I wasn't 100% sure. But um, I've talked to a lot of hip hop artists that are actually also teachers, and I just wanted to know, um, what's your initial response or feeling when some of your students find out that you do music?
So it's funny because um I've been in hip hop education for a long time. Since like I first started flirting with it in 2008 when I was doing the summer camp. And matter of fact, I modeled a whole summer camp or a whole after school program behind it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, During the pandemic, before the pandemic, I got to the point so I was making so much money I could not. I got laid off from a job, but I was making so much money touring that I was able to be a full-time rapper. Then the pandemic hit, so I go back to the classroom, and I was teaching virtually, and they asked me what did I want to teach, and I said I want to teach hip hop. So they knew I was a rapper because I was teaching hip hop. I moved to Tulsa, and I started teaching at a school, and the school is 98% Latino. So there was already like a lot of like uh there's like I ain't gonna say racial tension so much, but there was a pretty significant anti-black uh kind of sentiment.
Hmm.
Uh you know what I'm saying? And so I felt that me being Marcel P. Black was more of a distraction because I'm already fighting against stereotypes as a black male educator, right? So they found out though. They found my Instagram. One day I had a mask. I said, because this is still when the mask mandate was still in, and so I had a mask that said "Black God Fresh" was the name of one of my songs, and the guy Googled it and whatever, and he found me, and I come into the classroom, they playing my music, and what's up, Marcel P. Black? I'm like, man, that's not me. What are y'all talking about? Like, that's not me. You said you own a child, you ain't got no brother. I was like, well, everybody got somebody who look just like him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, and then like, I mean, real talk, real talk, real talk. And so, but I couldn't really hide it as well because so it was interesting. They thought it was cool. I left the school 2 school years ago, and on the last day, I performed for them, like with my homeroom class. And when I say they scream, it's on my Instagram somewhere. Cause I
Hmm.
made a teacher Instagram, and when I say they screamed and shouted and they loved it, like they felt it was special. This last year at the school I was at, because I was a like I had a rap class. Like we literally uh the last period of my day, we had students come into a studio. Like for instance, and you'll appreciate this, Dinku. The first day of class, Murs came.
Mm, that's dope.
Talk to my class, you know what I'm saying? And Alfred Banks came and we had all type of Grammy nominated people come through and talk to the students or whatever. So I was a rapper there. And like, we did like, we did some of the festivals and I would perform, you know what I'm saying? And then my students would perform as well or whatever. So honestly, they didn't care as much.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like my black students, because I guess everybody raps. You know what I'm saying? Like it was less, it was more of a like a thing when my students was like mostly like not black or whatever. But when I moved to a school, you know what I'm saying, with mostly black students, they didn't really care as much. They respected what I did. It's funny because like I was talking to one of my friends, and my friend is an older artist, and they're trying to get into a production. And I was explaining to him like, that's cool, but like your style seems very dated. And I was like, but don't feel bad because my students think my new single sounds like Run DMC. You know what I'm saying? So like,
mm,
I found the hardest color. And so like the way they hear hip hop is completely different. The way they think about flowing, the way they hear beats or whatever. And so like, it's cool. Like pretty much with me being a teacher and a rapper, a lot of people call me coach because they couldn't just call me Miss. I mean, they would call me coach because it's like, well, he's not a coach, but he's a rapper, but he's a teacher. We just don't call him coach. You know what I'm saying? So
mm.
I got the coach treatment at school. Uh, Sometimes it could be a gift or a curse because a lot of times students are a little bit more informal with coaches. And when I'm in my classroom, I'll play them games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Whatever. And on the other hand, if some of my students wouldn't know their shit, coaches can also get in your ass. You know what I'm saying? Pause. You know what I mean? So, uh, so it was what it was, but it was cool. I enjoy it. Like the school I'm going to next year. Well, I'm actually starting uh on Friday. I'm going to my PD. I'm going because they want me to start a hip hop studies program.
That's dope.
Oh,
So
dope.
yeah, so like I man, that's my favorite thing, hip hop education. Like, I got my degree in history, but like being able to put like all my training from being a trained historian into like teaching hip hop, I love it. It's so much fun, man. And I like it because like it's just like during the pandemic when I couldn't go rap, I treated every lesson like a performance.
Mm,
Like
that's
like
dope.
I treated, I got an hour with these kids' time and we virtual. How can I rock this? How can I rock this classroom? How can I rock this lesson to where to where they wanna, you know what I'm saying, literally on their screens raise their hands to answer the questions and get involved or whatever. Like, how
Mm,
can I make this interesting? I got my PowerPoints up, whatever, but I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure my delivery is clear. I gotta make sure, like literally, I don't want to run out of breath, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So like that
yeah.
was my fix. Like that was my hip hop fix. And like I got to like because I'm researching things. I'm listening to my students about what they're interested in and I'm trying to make sure I can match it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So if we're talking about like one thing, uh, I wanted to talk about fight the power, but I knew they would just wouldn't be interested in Public Enemy. So I do a lesson called the history of protest music, and I take it all the way back to the '60s, starting with the civil rights movement, and I show them the music that was popular during every single protest. Start with the civil rights movement, and I end when we get to the Black Lives Matter part. I end with Lil Baby, the bigger picture. And the kids is like, yes, you know what I'm saying? But like, so it's like, and I'm like, yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying? So like, I love doing that, man. I love being able to rock a crowd. You know what I'm saying? Of course on stage, but even in the classroom, bro. Like it's a
Yeah,
good
that's
feeling
dope.
when like you know how it is. Y'all know how it is when you ripped it. You know what I'm saying? You know you
Yeah.
ripped it. So it's the same thing as a teacher, man. Like I got these kids who are so used to like mainstream rap, or they're so used to influences if I can get them to understand a lesson about uh you know what I'm saying, Fred Hampton, I'm like, I did it. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool.
How do
Yeah,
you
that's dope.
how do you create your direction for your lesson plans when you teach a hip hop class? I mean, the example you just gave of the history of protest music is it's so dope how you were able to put that entire lesson plan together. But like how do you plan it? Like how do you decide what you want to do? Is it like just do you have something planned out before, like do you have a whole bunch of things planned out before the school year even starts, or you just go day by day and like
When I was creating it, the first time I did it when I first created my curriculum, when I was creating it, it was based off of what the kids want to talk about. Which I want to talk about. We want to talk about police brutality. Okay, I'm gonna find these records. I'm gonna find these songs, but I'm gonna find the data and historical thing that came along with it. Oh, you guys want to talk about misogyny? Okay, cool. I'm gonna find these YouTube videos where we're talking about misogyny and hip hop. If you want to talk about politics. Okay, we're gonna find the Yes We Can song, with Black Eyed Peas, or we're gonna listen to Nas's song Black President. If you want to talk about, I do a dope lesson about like the war on drugs, and like
hmm,
we get really deep into like the history of like the war on drugs and things of that nature, and then the Iran crack scandal. And I show little clips about the how they put crack into the neighborhoods, and then I might play the night of the living basshead by Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So it's really just listening to what the kids want to talk about. You know what I'm saying. And then like as a conscious hip hop artist, man, I'm kind of tapped into a lot of the conscious hip hop artists and their content. So if I hear a song that I like and they're talking about something that I think I could use as a lesson. So for instance, like when I teach about Malcolm X, Mickey Fax has a song called Detroit Red. Um, when I talk about police brutality, Superstition has a song called Black Bodies.
hmm,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's different.
yeah,
It's so just and so but now I've been doing it for so long, I do have like a little curriculum in a database that I can just tap into. But if not, I'm a trained historian. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a trained historian, but by nature, naturally, I'm a historical and dialectical materialist. And so for me, I like to go look at the source data. I like to look at what happened and what was said, and then make my analysis from there. And you can pull out, but you can literally teach hip hop with every single thing. You know what I'm saying? But you just
yeah,
gotta know the music and like so and it's better like when you dealing with kids, like you can have what you want to have, but you always gotta be flexible because that's how you get your buy-in. So this what y'all want to talk about? Like for instance, like a lot of the students that we have now have never watched a music video on TV.
hmm,
A lot of the students I
Yeah.
have now were born after 106 apart. So they for damn sure don't know about Rap City or Yo MTV Raps. So I literally have a lesson that I do teaching them the history of Yo MTV Raps and Rap City, like showing them interviews, showing them like how an episode would go, showing them basement freestyles, things of that nature.
yeah.
And they like,
I miss I not to cut you off, but I actually I made a post not too long ago how I wish uh Rhapsody was still a thing, and then people were like, but today though, I was like, I would still want to see it today, kinda. I would still want to see it today.
they have video programs on Revolts that show music videos. The thing is, there's no balance. There's no balance. Like a lot of stuff that we like is not on there. It's because it's not a balance. Because and honestly, man, like a lot of new artists now, even independent artists, they're opting to invest in content as opposed to for music videos.
Mm,
So
yeah.
now it's just, hey, let's get a 90-second clip and put captions on it, as opposed to spending $500 to $2,000 on the music video. And so now what happens is when you go to like Revolts or like you like there is like a UMTV Jams, uh, like a channel. Like if you still have cable, there is if you go like way to like channel 347, You know what I'm saying? There is like an MTV thing, but you're only getting mainstream acts because independent acts aren't making music videos. So
Yeah.
like the only people who can really afford to still spend $1,000 on a music video and then not really kill their budget are people signed to major labels. And so if you don't really care for, if that's not what you're into, then I don't suggest you watch it or whatever. But so yeah, music video, like I said, it's definitely not balanced like it once was or whatever. And honestly, when it comes to like any type of music, a lot of people don't want to leave. They don't want to leave their social media apps, let alone turn on the TV. Like they want to be able to be on Instagram, click a link in the bio, go on Linktree, and then watch it from there, as opposed to like search for it or whatever. So I don't really think and it sucks, man, because like man, when I was coming up, we'd be outside playing. When Rap City came on, we stopped playing. It
Mhm.
went inside for an hour, watched Rap City. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Watch on TV raps. And, I even watched 106 Apart. You know what I'm saying? We were watching and it was fun. It was like absolutely fun to go watch it, and it was an experience. I remember like being too young to go to the clubs or the songs I like. If it was a club scene, I would get dressed, or I would put a shirt on and I'm
That's what's
dancing in
up.
front of the TV. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
so
what's
like
up.
it's an experience that a whole generation of kids will never get to experience, whatever. And so me showing them, me having like a lesson that was graded with complete, we have to answer multiple choice questions about the history of music video channels. It was fascinating to them because it was like that's super duper dated technology. You know what I'm saying for them.
Yeah, man. Pest
Wild, man.
Pesto, you got something?
That's just wild, man. Because I definitely like you talking about all that stuff. I vividly remember like my ma used to work for this older couple that was like very, very wealthy. They lived in like a rich part of the town that we're from, off on like this lane, but she would bring me to work with her because she was a caretaker, and they had like an attached whole living area basically. And I would just sit in there and watch TV. And it's weird because it is like one of the only times that I did really kind of look at anything hip hop related before I got into hip hop. And it didn't really like this didn't get me into it by any means, but I do remember being entertained like watching 106 in Park and watching like the freestyles and watching those guys battle and stuff like that. And I think it was like the first time I caught it, it was like Blind Fury and somebody else was on there, and it was like, damn, this is crazy. Like these people are fucking thinking of this shit so fast. And they had a lot of content like that. But I recently read something. Actually, it might have been today, this morning, because I just had a thought the other day because I work in a bar and I've worked in bars since I was 18. So it's like, and I grew up in bars. So I remember like bar programming, what's on TV in the bar. And it's always Sports Center. Sports Center is always on in the bar. And I always remember growing up seeing Sports Center all the time, remembering all these stats, and like they always had the top 10 and the not top 10 and all this stuff. And I had the thought like, man, are they even doing the top 10 and the not top 10 now? So I looked it up, and it's like they have like this online version thing going on. And I saw this like big long thread where people are talking about what happened to like all this programming, and it started with Sports Center, but it kind of branched out to everything. And it was talking about how, in the 80s, 90s and all this stuff, when those channels first, populated, they were getting new subscribers and they were growing their market share just on having a niche. But then once you get to the 2000s, everybody has that niche. Then it became harder and harder for them to get people. So then they started spanning into not just reporting, but like putting personalities on that clash with each other. And that worked. And now we're in a situation where it's like, reporting on statistics, facts, and stuff like that on a TV program is so dated. It's like the newspaper because everybody's got it on their phone, like right there. You can access all this stuff. Like, why would I watch Sports Center for an hour to catch the highlights when I can just look up the highlights on my phone? So it's completely altered the programming of all of these shows to be more captivating. And a lot of times that's through tension, drama, stuff like that. That's, sensationalism. It's not necessarily journalism, and reporting facts and stuff like that is not, it doesn't seem to be as revered. by a lot of those big media sources now. And I think it's weird because it's definitely influencing a lot of people. Like, I work in this bar and I work in a bar is it's wild because it's a wildly conservative bar in the country. So it's like a lot of these people are very like they're very they're Trumpers and they're into this kind of stuff. And I stay out of politics in the bar because that's not it never goes somewhere good. But it's like to hear some of the like misinformation and how quickly it spreads, like getting to see that real world example. Like this week, everybody was talking about the boxer in the Olympics, and there all these people are saying like, well, that's BS that, they shouldn't be in there. They were a man. And I just was my jaw, and I actually had to tell these people, I was like, yo, you guys know that that's not the case, right? You know that that's just a woman with like more testosterone than most women have, but that's a woman, always has been. I'm like, it's the same thing as Michael Phelps having long arms. Like everybody's born different, man. Some people are gonna have genetic gifts. It's like, look at all the greatest athletes. Some of them are just gonna be more pushed towards that, but that spread of misinformation feels like it has evolved to a cataclysmic level now, where it's like people believe this stuff is fact. And I think that to me is
Mm.
the scariest change, like culturally. And then it's like you look at these kids and it's like these are the ones that are coming up and we're trying to pass something like hip hop down to them. And they don't have the same resources we did in the other side of things. Like when you mentioned before, you had that student when you said, who raised you? Well, no one. It's like he's growing up in a different time. It's like I remember when I was growing up, it's like I didn't have the greatest parents, but my situation was considered one of like the not as good ones. It's like there weren't as many kids that didn't have a solid home system in my area. And nowadays it's like almost everybody has some kind of like, parents are split. There's this, there's that, there's other people involved. And I don't know, man. I feel for him, and I definitely resonate with what you said when you said that, like, just saying like, y'all suck does diminish that because I that happened for us when I was growing up with like us and the generation that came before us, just kind of harping on us and saying, you guys aren't doing it the right way instead of trying to take you under their wing and say, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you see this? You're into this. Why don't you check this out? That's
So so these right here, these phones, are probably the most dangerous uh uh things that you could possibly imagine as it pertains to young people. Um so I got my degree in history, but first 2 years of college, I studied mass comm. I took some public relation classes and understanding. So I don't claim to be an expert, but understanding how media works and how everything is arbitrary. That's the reason why I'm such a big supporter of underground independent hip hop, because there's no suits telling us what to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? And because of that, that's part of the reason why we aren't as platformed as much. But I really that's why I love underground independent hip hop. But all these things that these kids are getting via social media is very arbitrary. There's a reason why uh like these kids have more access to any type of technology than we ever had, than ever before, but their grades and the test scores are going lower and lower and lower because there's so much confusion on social media um and online. Like this influencer culture is tough. Um Pez, you was talking about Trump at your bar. You would be surprised, man. And specifically when it comes to hip hop. Uh Kanye West has created a whole generation of young black white supremacists.
Hmm.
Uh, and I
that's
never
wild.
and I never forgive him for that. Um, uh, like it seemed crazy in 2015, 16 when we seen Kanye going to Trump. and we was like, oh no, no, no. Now I look at the Roots Picnic, and Sexy Red is on stage with a MAGA hat on stage, and like a big like a prop. Like she be wearing MAGA hats, but the prop says "Make Sexy Great Again." If you look at it, it looks like a MAGA hat, but it says "Make Sexy Great Again," right? But like, you have Waka Flocka, and I'm no Democrat, but you have Waka Flocka kicking anybody who's a Democrat out of his shows. You
Mm.
have you have all these different rappers that Trump has pardoned. You know what I'm saying? Shouting out Trump or whatever. People as big as Lil Wayne. Uh,
Yeah, like Kodak Black.
Kodak, you know what I'm saying? Kodak Black. You have I just saw today where Trump was on and it's like I said once again, when we get back to that influencer culture, Trump was on Aiden Ross's stream, and he walks out to Many Men by 50.
Yeah, yeah,
So like these things right here, man, the misinformation, the lack of people being like really educated and being able to uh come up with their own thoughts and come up with their own opinions because everything is so arbitrary. And for me as a now imagine me as a history teacher. I'm like, yo, like I try not to argue anything if I can't prove it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, as a dialectical a dialectical historical materialist, like I try not to argue anything that I cannot pull up that I have not read in a book. Of course, I can make my own political analysis or whatever, but like my political analysis comes from somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It may be because I got a college degree and I'm in education. I tend to trust academics more than what a motherfucker in the barbershop is just saying. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And so, but like a lot of this stuff has been alleviated because of these things right here. Whatever. Like people just go to their timelines and like understanding who Zuckerberg is, understanding who Elon Musk is. You're absolutely right. It's like this for a very particular reason. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So it's really tricky, man. And that's why it's up to us, like us artists or just men or whoever, adults who know better to like keep these things into consideration when we talking to the next generation because they are constantly being bombarded with all type of bullshit misinformation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and you look at what actually goes off. I mean, Denku talks about this often. It's like Denku, I think in the last 2 weeks has made several posts like about, he's doing that. He dropped a teaser for a song with Lil Kim, he's dropping like content with big recognizable names that you would expect to get some kind of a response from people. And he's got his regular, group of fans that are responding to it, in kind and then normally. And then he'll have like one opinion about something that creates a little bit of friction with somebody. And he doesn't, no vitriol, nothing like that. But that explodes. And it's like people are so drawn to that drama, that conflict. They want to see the fight, the world star. They want to see they
Yeah.
want to see the people go at it. And it's like, man, it's like gladiator culture almost. It's like
I mean,
going
cause, I
back
mean,
to the Roman
like
days.
so. One thing I learned from a hip hop and media scholar uh, named Dr. Jared Ball, like I learned that the internet, the internet is a um it's a state invention. The internet was designed by the military. You know what I'm saying? And so like all this stuff is arbitrary, man. Like all this stuff is arbitrary. Like what from the algorithms to everything. You know what I'm saying? So like literally like this shit is just as much to surveil us. You know what I'm saying? To stay connected to us and surveil us and to disseminate whatever the state wants to disseminate. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so of course I can make so I did this in February. I thought it was funny. But for the month of February, I put up a video, a picture of Umar Johnson every day, having fun, making fun of Umar Johnson. And my timeline, my Instagram, and my Facebook got way way more traction during the month of February than I did in March when I put up real Pan Africans, people with real revolutionary politics. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
People are attracted to controversy. People are attracted to celebrities. Um, uh, whatever. Oh, well, this is what it is. I'm a conscious rapper, so I can go here. Stokely Carmichael said capitalism makes us think we're thinking when in fact we're only reacting to stimuli.
Yeah.
So we think that we're coming up with these ideas. We think that we have this analysis, but no, we're only reacting to the bullshit that they put out there. You know what I'm saying? Capitalism makes us think we're thinking when in fact we're only reacting to stimuli. And so just trying to maintain the awareness of what the stimuli is and how we react to it. For me, that informs the way I think, that informs the way I create, that informs the way I do business, that informs the way I make my opinions or whatever, create my analysis or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
man.
to get all extra.
Oh,
Uh,
no, no, no. It's all
you
good.
know what I'm saying? Like, both of y'all like, damn, this dude spitting over here. I'm a, teacher's tea. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
dope, man. It's that's the thing that's been cool about this podcast is getting every episode kind of driven by the guest and like getting people to talk about what they're passionate about and what they know. You know, I feel like it creates this archive of real knowledge, you know, real human experience. You know, it's like it's a pushback against all that other stuff, you know, to get people in a room in a setting where you're just talking and you're speaking your truth.
Now, and I appreciate it, man. I appreciate when people let the old man come on here and ramble.
You had you had you had an off day, kind of. Well, you came to Milwaukee during your off day, and then you played a show here, and then you had some more time to kind of chill out. So you kind of explored Milwaukee a little more than I feel like you normally got to. So what was that like?
Uh, so I spent my so I was in Kansas and I took my off day. I actually, as opposed to coming to Milwaukee, I took the off day in Des Moines. We didn't really do nothing in Des Moines, but we get to Milwaukee, we do the show, and then we hung out. We got the food or whatever at the was it the Pizza Village? Where did we go?
Pizza shuttle we went.
Pizza Shuttle, right? And so then so being that Chicago is not that far from Milwaukee, I got a chance to kind of be in the city a little bit more. And it was crazy because, every city I go to, I try to go find a hat. You know what I'm saying? To show that love. And I'm set because I cannot. I bought a Brewers hat and I brought a Bucks hat, but I cannot find them. So I was trying to show
Oh
some love.
damn.
I don't know where they are. I don't know. I think my wife put them somewhere. I cannot find them. Whatever. But I went to Motor. Was it Motor 3?
Yeah, Motor 3, yep.
Motor 3. They had a bunch of dope stuff, and I just happened to have like some dope hats for like $20, which is cool. But I got to find them hats, whatever, because I wanted to wear them, whatever. Um, but before I went to Motor 3, I wanted to go by the Bucks store, the Milwaukee Bucks store. And I walk up to the Pfizer. I see the big Bucks thing. I start looking around and I see RNC. I see the store is closed and I see RNC National Convention. I'm like, wait, what's going on over here? And I look to the right, I see the stage where they were having the RNC at. And what's funny was the whole day. So Chip, when we went to the hotel, my DJ, he kind of walked around the neighborhood to where we were at the hotel. And he kept on saying there was a lot of Secret Service there. And I'm like, well, maybe we buy some banks. I don't really know why. The reason why the Secret Service was there in Milwaukee, because they were prepping for the RNC. And I remember, and so Chip had dropped me off. He had made a block. He had parked. And as soon as I saw what was going on, I turned my fat ass around, got to the car, and told Chip, let's get the fuck out of here. And we went to and that's when I went to Motor 3. And I'm glad I did because I really like the hats I got. if I can find them. Hopefully, they might be in my car, whatever. But yeah, but nah, man, I like Milwaukee's a vibe. Like I've always had, it's always been good times, man. Like it's so funny, man. People where I'm from, they can't fathom like hip hop in Wisconsin. Like motherfucker, we live in Oklahoma. What are you talking about? Like you know what I'm saying? Like we like hip hop is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's like but what the culture is like Dinko and I met was in 2000 either 18, 17, 18 or whatever. And like the first show I did in Milwaukee was with Tribe Diesel and DJ M80 and Wreck Riddles. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah,
shit was
yeah,
dope
yeah.
as hell. And so like I see the potential. I've seen, I'm not saying that was the best of Milwaukee hip hop, but I've seen a very, 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 very good show. And my first ever show was a very good showing or whatever. And so I know it's there. Like I've done the show, done a show in Madison. That show was dope. You know what I'm saying? And so his head's up there. And so I go where the culture is, man. I'm not the type of person that like, I don't chase after like, so I do consultations for artists and we talk about touring. So I'll be like, where you want to go? I want to go to New York. I want to go to LA. I want to go to Atlanta. Man, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. But like you mess around and get you a nice little bag, you play Carl's Tavern in New Haven on the right night. You know what I'm saying? Like go to
Yeah.
Columbus, go to
I
Cincinnati, go to, you know what I'm saying? Like you'd be surprised, man. Go where the culture is, bro.
I just don't think like when people think about touring that have never toured before and they say cities like that, I don't think that they really realize how like oversaturated the market is in those places. And that's not really where you want to go necessarily. It's like one of the places that you can throw on your tour schedule on like a Monday or Tuesday because there's so many people in the area. It's like one of those places. But like weekend spots, I feel like you kind of want to hit either like a college town or like even a smaller town that you know has something popping. At least that's what I do.
Like,
Like,
for instance, like 606 Tuesdays works because it's Chicago.
yeah, yep,
You know what I'm saying? 606 Tuesdays might not work the same in Oshkosh. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to be able to find a small town and do a weekly open mic for 28 years,
yeah.
26 years.
The longest in the world.
The, you know what I'm saying? In a place that's not as big as Chicago, right? So like, yes, it's millions of people in the city, but you're gonna find 60 to 75 people who's gonna come out, rain, sleet, snow, or sunshine. You know what I'm saying on a Tuesday night. That's absolutely a great observation as far as like like I'm playing a show in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's during football season, but I made sure I called a night that was a bye week to
Mm.
where the Razorbacks aren't playing at all.
Yeah,
If I come on a if I come on a if I come on a weekend where it's a game day, traffic's gonna be crazy, hotels gonna be crazy, the the uh the venues are gonna be super duper hard to get into if you can get into one. You know what I'm saying? And if you catch it on an away game, a lot of people are going out of town. So
yeah,
you got to catch it. It's you got to be strategic about stuff like that. And we're gonna mess around and have a dope show because we could be one of the hottest tickets in town because ain't nothing else going on. You know what
yep,
I'm saying? So like, but yeah, you have to. But like, imagine going to New York City. Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you only. And I'm not saying I like playing New York City. I like playing the only big city I don't really care for, and I say it publicly. I don't care for playing Atlanta.
hmm.
Like I know some good people in Atlanta, but I'm gonna choose Athens or Birmingham over Atlanta every time. If it's a one of. Now I know some good folks in Atlanta. I know a lot of dope rappers or whatever, but it's Babylon out there. You know what I'm saying? As far as like booking shows and the scene or whatever, because this is like the music industry moved to Atlanta 20 years ago. Nobody want to admit that shit or whatever, but it's been there. You know what I mean? And I don't see it going back, no time soon or whatever. That's why the money, that's why the moves are being made. And so the promoters and the views playing nasty games out there. The pay to play, this is atrocious or whatever. But
Yeah,
other than that, man, and I played New York. I haven't. The only major city that I have not played proper is I haven't played LA. I've done the Bay Area, I've done Ontario, but I have not done Los Angeles proper. That's like the last thing on my bucket list. But I've done LA, I've done New York, I've done Chicago, I'm sorry, Atlanta, New York, Chicago, whatever. I've done San Francisco. I've done those major cities, and I've had some good shows out there, whatever. But man,
Yeah.
I'd had some shows. I feel like the first show I did in Bremen was one of my favorites. Uh, some shows at Carl's Tavern. I've had some dope shows in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I've had some dope shows in Cincinnati and Columbus. I've had some dope shows in uh fucking Jackson, Mississippi. Some dope shows, and I love Athens, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of places where it's just like, man, go where your fans are, and if you ain't got no fans there yet, go where the culture is. Go where people who people who respect the culture, they love the culture. You know, if you tap in with them, they gonna point you to the fans. That's how you gonna find your fan base, right? You find the leaders of the culture in those smaller markets. They gonna point you to the fan base.
Yeah. Yeah.
They gonna point you to the fan base. And you start building there. Once you start building there, you move on to the next city. And now you drop the project, you got a tour. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why we love, and Dingo can say the same. That's why we love New England.
Mhm.
A group of guys in 4 or 5 different cities, they share their culture. They share their culture with other, you know what I'm saying, with all type of, from Portland, Maine to Manchester to Providence, Rhode Island to Vermont. They share, and it's like you pick a weekend, and one thing is consistent is they love the culture, and they gonna come out, they gonna pull up every single time, and the people who will like kind of facilitate the scene, they gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
You find those pockets, that gives you longevity. I
Yeah,
tell people
man.
all the time, man, if you can find a good touring circuit, you can easily add 5 to 10 years onto your career.
Yeah.
Then like me and Dinkle, we're in our 40s. Dinkle and I, we're at that age to where we're so old, our age doesn't matter anymore. Because it's not dependent on if we have a hit record or a trendy viral thing. When they come to Dinkle, they want to hear freestyles, they want to hear bars, they want to hear some beatbox. When it comes to Marcel, they want to hear me say real MCs don't rap over vocals. They want to hear some black consciousness. They want to put their hands on the air. That's what they come for. They don't come for anything that goes on that we do on the internet, right? It doesn't matter how old we are. It doesn't matter if our new project has 1 billion streams, right? And so it's a blessing and an honor to be in the game to get to that point to where you're so old, your age doesn't matter. And so now I finally get to see you rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like it's a blessing to do that. And a lot of people don't understand that you're not gonna find that by just staying where you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
man.
there's a pesto, there's a motherfucker in goddamn Kalamazoo, Michigan, who probably plays your shit and you don't even know it. It's
Yeah.
it's up to you to go find him. You know what I'm saying? And you with the right person. Like people always, when people say that, like I always tell people, I like Diku does what I do in the Midwest in the South and vice versa. We do the same thing. We just in 2 different regions, and that's why when we connected, it was a really really good thing, like culturally, whatever. But you with the right person, and you know that. But
Oh,
like
absolutely.
you know that, you know what I'm saying? You with the right person, and he can tell you like I've been looking at your tour schedule. You be in every small city in Wisconsin I've never heard of before, but he know where the culture is.
Yep.
You
Hell
know,
yeah, man.
you know where the culture is, bro. You know, like, and that's what keeps you. Those people, like those people who I call I'm not trying to like belittle anybody, but I call them $50 fans, right? They pay $10 to come to your show, and they buy $40 worth of merch. They take pictures with you. They know the words to your songs. Them is the people you got to find.
Yeah.
Yep.
They'll come into the venue wearing your shirt. They'll come. They already bought your shirt. They'll come
Yeah.
in. You can know what I'm talking about. Cause Digo got 1 million shirts. You know, see, you know what
That's
I'm talking.
Oshkosh, man.
I had
Oshkosh is
multiple
that
people
every
at
time,
the
bro.
show Saturday with my shirt on
Oshkosh is
at the
like
show.
that, bro.
They come in the building with your shirt. They'll buy you new vinyl. Sometimes they might buy vinyl and t-shirt. Sometimes they might buy whatever. But they'll spend at least another $40, $50 or whatever. And they will come after the show. They want to shake your hand. They want to have a conversation with you. And they want to take a picture with you. Find those
Yeah.
motherfuckers. And they're all over the world, bro. They're everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
They're everywhere, man. And I love it, man. And like that's what keeps me doing it, man. Like that's what keeps me like excited because I know there's somebody who has not got to experience me in real life yet. And I want to meet you. I want to shake your hand. I want to dap you. I want to take a picture with you. I want to add you on my Facebook, whatever. We can stay tapped in. I like that. That's what like the way hip hop brings us all together and we can share these particular moments. Cause like for the most part, when we're rapping, and even if we're rapping a serious song, it could be political, it could be sad. We're still trying to give you the best parts of us. So I'm still trying to give you. I want you to notice my. I want to notice how skilled I am in presenting these facts or these my political analysis. Or if I'm talking about something sad, I want you to notice how I'm delivering this emotion. I'm really working hard to give you my best. And then if I'm spitting bars, I'm working hard to give you the best bars that I can, execute them. If I'm trying to rock a crowd, I want you to have the best time ever. And so a lot of our fans, they get the best of us. Like
Mm.
I love teaching, but well, let me not say that because school about to start. I've had other jobs to where I was riding the clock. You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't care that much about making this burger. You know what I mean? Like I'm not giving you all as I squeeze the gun to put the Big Mac sauce on the burger. But hip hop, we work very very hard to give people our best, and the people who appreciate that shit, like who actually show appreciation of what you create in real time, that's the best feeling ever, man.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. There was a
Personally,
dude
best feeling ever.
that came to the there was a dude that came to the Oshkosh show that he's been coming for a while. I think his name's Connor, and he was saying it to me outside. He was like, "Man, he's naming all these projects that me and Denku just dropped, and the other people in our collectives that they dropped, and how he listened to all these things. And he's like, "Man, I really appreciate you guys, like all the work you guys put in, like how much time and energy and stuff like that." And just that compliment said a lot more than like people dapping you up and being like, "Oh, it's cool you rap, it's this is dope, good performance." It's like somebody that really sees behind the scenes. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's like having another job. It is another job, but it's something that it's it's like you said, there's nothing that compares to that. It's like having that show, doing that. It's like I've had, I mean, like just this weekend, I had to work yesterday. I had to get up. I had to be there at 6 a.m. and I didn't get home until like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I knew that going into the night before that. I knew I'm gonna have to go in at 6 a.m. I'm gonna have to work till 6 p.m. I'm gonna be in a hot kitchen all morning. We could be busy, and we got our asses kicked. But and I went hard on Saturday night. Like after my set, Deku said you could hear me in the video. Smack him out of here.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
hear me in the front. It's like but it feels like there's an unlimited store of energy that I'm able to tap into when it's for hip hop. It's like you give to the culture gives back to you. And it's like I always trust in that process. The first couple of years I was doing shows and doing stuff, I was always very, very concerned about like some of those conflicts of time, or like I'm gonna have to do this show and then I gotta work the next day, or I gotta do this, or I gotta do that. But then after you do that a couple times and you realize like, nah, man, I'm gonna do that every time, and Denko and I have seen it. I mean, he's seen it a lot more. Obviously, he's been doing it forever, but even in the short time I've been doing it, like I could name 20 people that we book, if they get booked, I'm like, I doubt I'll see that person there, or there will be, hey, I got to work tomorrow. I can't be there. Or they'll come and they'll rock their set, they'll open or they'll go second. And as soon as they're done performing, hey, man, I got to work tomorrow. I'm out of here. There's a whole list of those people. And it always does stick in the back of your head like, okay, man, like I do get it. Sometimes there are commitments. Sometimes people got stuff to do and you get double booked and you try the best you can. Once in a while, it's definitely understandable, but it's like the people that habitually do it, it makes me wonder, like, how passionate are you about this? How much, because for me, it's like not just performing, it's going there and seeing Danku, getting to hear other people talk about my homies when they're rapping, getting to experience that for the first time. Watching your set, I mean, even though we're in a venue that's not packed out, like getting to see the way you do things, like that experience is why I love the shows, and regardless of how big the venue is or how many people are there, how popping it is, how into it they are. Even me and Denku have talked about a show that we had zero response from, and it's like, man, it was while it was happening, I knew I was like, man, this sucks now, but this is gonna be funny. Like we're gonna get our due out of this in time, just from this story. It's such a unique experience of like, man, there's 70 people in here and not a damn word from anybody the whole night. Like they just doing their thing. Like it was, but Denku still delivered like one of the best sets I've seen Denku perform. He had that extra like chip on his shoulder, and it's like that's the MC. It's like getting to watch a mythical creature in real time.
Word
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
word
absolutely, man. That's absolutely the dopeness.
up. I don't want to keep you super long, super much longer. We already been talking over an hour, but I definitely wanted to. You had mentioned it when you were here a little bit in our conversation about how you are the official leader of the Real MCs Don't Rap Over Their Vocals movement, but you don't really know how that happened. So,
Okay,
so I want to hear that whole breakdown. Is what
all
I
right.
want.
So I one of my favorite things to do is lay in my bed at midnight and look at my Facebook memories. Right, every night I do it like clockwork. Right, and so I've been posting about people rapping over vocals since like 2009. So I've always talked about it. It wasn't until like the late 2010s, like 17 or 18, when like I really started. I'm a career conscious hip hop artist, right? Like before the Red Road shit, I was the fuck Donald Trump guy, right? So I'm a career conscious hip hop artist, but around 2017, 18, I noticed that a lot more people, well, not a lot more, but I noticed there was a large contingent of people who know me as the guy who's always talking shit about over vocal rappers. And so what happened was I was in I this is when I was going crazy with doing shows. One weekend I did a show in Oakland, and my friend Nate, his wife Crystal, she had booked me, and she was like, "Do you want to do sound check?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Well, I don't know what you're gonna do sound check for. You rap over your vocals." She was joking. You rap over your vocals. I'm just like, like, but she knew to make a joke about it. I'm like, and we are in Oakland. You know what I'm saying? The next week, I was in Ohio for 2x2. I think you was on that too, Dinku, 2018. I was in Ohio for 2x2, and Doug Gamble walked up to me. He was like, "Hey, you're the guy who always talks about people rapping over vocals." And I was like, hmm. And so I want to say, so it was July 25th. July 25th of 2018. I went on a super duper duper long rant about people rapping over vocals. And like, it was everywhere. It was all over my page, everywhere, whatever. And like, and so I think by osmosis, somehow I became the leader of the movement. Nobody said that Marcel's the leader of the Stop Rapping Over Vocals movement. I don't know if there was an official Stop Rapping Over Vocals movement, but somehow I just feel like people started knowing me for that shit, right? People started knowing me for that or whatever. And so fast forward, 2019 comes, and I'm working with this company out of the Bay Area, and they wanted to sponsor a tour. And she said, "I'm not really trying to sponsor two tours." I said, "Okay, cool." I was like, "Well, I'm gonna call this for the month of July. I'm gonna call this the Real MCs Don't Rap Over Vocals campaign. And I was like, I'm gonna call it a campaign. So going back, so the Red Rove, the Real MCs Don't Rap Over Vocals, this is where it comes from. And I'm trying to be short. So I'm doing a show in Greensboro, North Carolina, Roanoke, Virginia, and Charlottesville, Virginia, April of 2019. I DU and they lose my luggage. So I don't have my merch bag. So I do the show in Greensboro, North Carolina with Pomac. Shout out to Pomac. And I don't have any merch. So the next day, we're in Roanoke. And I'm like, I gotta have the type of merch, man. People rocking with me out here. And so Illa Dope, who was a DJ for Calypso Forces at the time, he was like, yo, if you got $100, let's go to the middle of the mall. And if we can find the mall, they'll press some shirts up for us. So we in the hotel, he was like, you should make some shirts that say stop rapping over vocals. I was like, nah, because I'm not the first person to say that. I'm not the first person to say stop rapping over vocals. If I'm gonna put something on the shirt, I want it to be something that I made up. Right. And so I came up with Real MCs Don't Rap Over Vocals. And so we go to the middle of the mall. I give them $100. They made me 10 shirts. I sold out. Like, I sold like 6 shows the first night, 6 shirts the first night, and I sold the rest of the shows the next night in Charlottesville. So fast forward, July comes, and as opposed to calling this the Red Rove Tour, I'm going to call it the Red Rove Campaign, and like you can find it on YouTube and everything. I'm like, this month is International Stop Rapping Over Vocals Month, and I'm going on a campaign to end all over vocals rap. I was serious, but I wasn't serious. I was just trying to find a different name, right? And it's just stuck. And like the YouTube video got like 10,000 plays. You know what I'm saying? People are from all over the world, not just country, world, was hitting me up saying, hey, I need you to bring the movement here. And that's to this day, that's how I get a lot of my shows. To this day, people are like, yo, they rapping over vocals in Pittsburgh. We need Marcel P. Black to come. Straight up. It's like they put the bat signal up, the Red Rose signal up. Seriously. Now, I was supposed to go to Canada, but the pandemic happened or whatever. But like, I've gotten a lot of shows off the Red Rose thing or whatever. And so that's why this year was the 5-year anniversary of the beginning of the Red Rose movement, right? So I would say I became the leader of the Stop Rap Over Vocals movement in 2018, but I made the Red Rove a thing in 2019. And so I made July the Red Rove month just because, and it was not disputed. You know what I'm saying? It was a vacant title that I just took or whatever. And I made July 25th Red Rove Day. And people take that shit seriously. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I have fun with it. I don't chastise people. A lot of people, you know, I'm a big dude, so if I bark a little bit, people think I sound like a grizzly bear. But like, I really don't. People think that I just go out here and just like I make fun of them, and I have a lot of fun with it. But you guys, I can name at least. Well, I can't name them, but every person. But I can say there's at least 50 to 75 rappers who said that I did not know I wasn't supposed to rap over vocals until I heard about you. When I was in Athens, this guy came up to me. So I'm getting ready to get into my Red Rove section of the set, and he was like, and I mentioned I was about to get into it, and he was in the audience. He was like, I rap over vocals, so and I'm cold with it. I like, okay, bet. He was like, yeah, wait, I get on stage, I said, well, look, I said, you watch what I do, and then you tell me how you feel when I finish. So I do my Red Rove section. I do Principles and Standards, and I do the Red Rove anthem, and the whole crowd is going crazy. The whole crowd is screaming, Real MCs Don't Rap Over Vocals. And I get off the stage. He the first person to dab me up. Was like, y'all respect your movement. When I was in Jackson, so I do think I've done, and maybe this is the evil over vocal rap guys paying me back for talking so bad about over vocal rappers, but I think I have done permanent damage to my voice from just being older and the way I perform. Like I hear how I perform, like it's kind of whatever, it's real throaty or whatever, and so 5 shows in a row, my voice is cooked at a certain point. But so I'm in Jackson, Mississippi, one of the last shows, one of the second to last show on the tour, and my voice is cooked. This is show number 5. My voice is pretty much cooked, but I'm powering through because either I'm gonna rap sounding like Oscar the Grouch, or I'm not gonna rap. Under no
Yeah.
circumstance will I rap over vocal, whatever,
Mhm.
right? So I powered through the show. I didn't feel good about it, but the crowd liked it. But this one kid came up to me. He was like, "Hey man, I just want to give you your props." He was like, "They told me that you was coming, and they told me under no circumstances could I rap over vocals." He said I was tripping at first, but he was like, "After I watched you perform with no voice, you rocked the crowd." He said I'll never rap over vocals again. It's been times to where people did not know I was coming to a show, and they rapped over vocals and they apologized to me. Like it's so like it's as much as I talk about it, I have fun with it, but I don't really chastise people like that no more, man. Because a lot of people, like I said, who raised you, nobody. A lot of
Mm.
times, you know what I'm saying? And like it's so like I don't, I have fun on Facebook and people know me for it, and I'm constantly getting tagged about it or whatever. And I'm serious about it from a cultural standpoint. But I mean, and like I have my standards and I have my whatever, but like, man, and that's the reason like when I make my red road flyers or whatever, I put the different points on there that's going to make you a better rapper. So if you see these different points that's going to make you a better performer, and you just don't want to do it because you're hard-headed, then we don't need to have a conversation anyways. But I feel like every person who wants it, let me be very clear. Like I specifically said MC. Like to me, a MC is like being a PhD. Like that's a proud mantle. Like,
Mhm.
like yeah, you got lyricists, you got wordsmith, you got rapper, but to be an MC, I feel like you got to put some work in for that motherfucker.
Mhm.
Like I take this shit serious, like being an MC, and there is you can be an MC in the booth, MC on stage. To me, that's the highest level because you got to think about it. If we're using August 11, 1973 as the birthday of hip hop, the first record wouldn't cut to like 1979. So the first six years of hip hop, the rappers was just busting. Wasn't nothing recorded. Outside on the block with it. We freestyle. We have the top with it. We might be kicking our riddens. We got routines with it. We rocking the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So for me, and I'm not even some old. I'm not a super like all hell New York City, but like I understand the history and the culture where it comes from, and I really appreciate that shit. And so that's why I say real MCs don't rap over vocals. If you don't want to be an MC, I'm not talking to you. Trying to be an MC, if you're not trying to strive to get that PhD in hip hop as rap, I'm not talking to you. But if you claim to be an MC, you can't do it, bro. And yes, it is possible for you to be an MC in the booth, but not on the stage.
Mm. Yeah.
I should put. I need to. I don't think I've made that clear. I need to put that on Facebook. Yes, because I'm the leader of the movement. I can say that shit. It is possible for you to be a dope MC in the booth, but not on stage if you're up there rapping with vocals. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but like I don't, like I said, I don't think that was a long way to answer your question, Dinku. Nobody appointed me anything. I just took up the mantle, and people recognize me for it, and I think it's a good thing. I have a lot of. I have. It's funny because I'm still fairly new to Tulsa. I'm the boogeyman up here. I had a dude. I had a guy, but they had like a Juneteenth festival kind of concert or whatever, and the guy who was supposed to rap before me, he canceled his set because he didn't want to rap over vocals. They had me go after him, so he didn't even show up.
Oh shit.
And then like last year, earlier this year rather, I had did this event with this guy, and of course, it wasn't rapping over vocals. It was like a weekly event, and so the next week, the guy came back to the event. He was asking the promoters, "Hey, is Marcel here?" Because you know what I'm saying, like, whatever. It's so many people like I said, I'm a big guy, so like I understand why people might be intimidated, and I do rap aggressively, whatever. But like you'll be surprised, like a lot of people tell me it's divisive, and I'm just like, you are literally talking about shooting people and selling crack. Yo, Reverend, like, yeah, like you are like no, like you are literally you have tattoos on your face. You'd have been to prison for fucking setting flame to a daycare center, and you're telling me I'm being divisive by saying step your motherfucking game up as a rapper.
Yeah.
So but it is what it is, man. Like I've had people tell me that the Red Rose movement has held me back when I literally had just returned from a tour and I sold 200 Red Rose t-shirts at $25 a piece. You do the math. You know what I'm saying? Is it? I literally just did a whole 16 city, 15 state, Rhythm Season Rappable Vocals tour. You know what I'm saying? Well, come on, like, so it hasn't held back shit.
Yeah, man.
The movement is moving.
Hell yeah.
I feel that. Pesto, you got anything before we close?
I mean, just kind of in addition to what you were saying about like you can be an MC in the booth and not on the stage. That's something, I mean, I've gotten into this argument. I'm sure you've seen me get into this argument with people several times as well. Um, and that's something I've always tried to distinguish with them is like, yo, man, like there's a difference between rapping and putting out dope hit, putting out hit music, putting out stuff people want to listen and bump in their car and being a performer. That's just two different things, man. And it's like, I always try to say like, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a veteran and I'm not trying to liken being an MC to being a veteran, but it's like I'm not going to claim a title of something I haven't earned. I'm not going to say I'm a carpenter. I'm not going to say I'm a doctor. I'm not going to say I'm a lawyer because I'm not, you know. But I will say I'm an MC. I've earned that. I went and worked, and it's like it took a lot of hours. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of, motivation to want to get to that point. So I think for a lot of those people, they get offended by that. And it's like it's not a personal attack. It's just it's a standard to have. It's like, no, man, it's a title you have to earn, and it's like you can make awesome music in the booth and you can make music I want to listen to in the booth. But if you're doing that over vocals, it's like I don't want to watch that performance. And I've had that experience before where it's like, me and him, I mean, I'm not the biggest Loonies fan, but they got songs that I would have loved to see live if they weren't rapping over their vocals. I spent the whole time outside because it's like, man, I don't breaks my heart to see this. Like it's painful to watch it. I wish there was more of a pushback from crowds in general. I mean, there's definitely a lot of people prefer it, but not there. It's not as outspoken out there as I'd like it to be. Because in some other
I
genres, they'll
think
get booed out.
I mean at a certain so this one thing it's been confirmed, and I think Dingle can confirm this because he tours more than I do. Only super famous mainstream rappers or amateur or barely above amateur local rappers rap over vocals. Dinkle cannot tell me one artist who tours like us that raps over vocals. Okay.
No.
No.
My man Grant in Columbus, uh, he made a post about how not to get booked. And he's one of the biggest talent buyers of booking agents in the Midwest. And the first thing was like, don't rap over your vocal tracks.
Yeah.
Like if and the thing about it is, man, Dinkle and I, we're not Rakim and Ice Cube, right? We are who we are. We're legends. We're veterans in this underground hip hop scenes, and we're respected all over the country, even international, right? A lot of rappers want to get to our point. A lot of rappers when I just did 15 states, and the month of July I rapped in 12 different states. Most rappers will never do that in their life, right? It takes a lot of work to even do that, and then at a certain point to even go, the further you get, luck is involved and money, whatever, right? Boom, geography lottery is a thing, right? Most rappers will never get far at all. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, for like the like an up and coming rapper is much more likely. It is an ATL kid right now. The odds are in his favor more that he tours as much as Dinku does, as opposed to him being Drake. So therefore, you know what I'm saying? And so, I'm not saying every rapper should. I love being an underground rapper. I love it. I love it. I get to say what I want to say. I get to go where I want to go. I get to do what I want to do. Right? I'm cool. I'm straight. Of course, would I like some more money? Absolutely. Like if if I won the lottery, I would play a lot of the same plays I play right now. I would just put more promotion behind it to get more bodies in the building, or maybe a slightly bigger vehicle. But I'm not trying to. I love being underground. I love underground hip hop. I'm not trying to go get records with Drake, or I'm not trying to get records with Big Sean. I want to be able to afford a Fonte verse if I win the lottery. People who I really enjoy, because I love hip hop. I didn't get into it for the industry. I didn't get into it. I got it. I'm a fat country boy from Southern Oklahoma, bro. I was too fat to break dance. I wasn't coordinated enough to do I'd have access to turntables, and I couldn't draw good enough to be a graffiti artist. The only I wanted to be a part of the culture so bad. The only thing I could do was rap because I come from a long line of musicians or whatever. So I've always just wanted to be a part of the culture, and this is where the culture is taking. And so I love underground hip hop. It's done a lot for me. I've got to meet a lot of dope people. I've got to have a lot of experiences. It's absolutely paid a lot of my bills and my rent and car notes, and it's fine. Whatever. So to get to this point, it takes a lot of hard work. And so I'm not saying you got to make music like me. I'm not saying you can't wish for more than me. But like the thing I love about Alfred Banks is we came from the underground. We came from the underground together. He's been able to go viral and go overseas and tour with these bigger name acts or whatever. But when he's not doing that, he's still in the underground. And if
Yeah.
nothing else, if all that mainstream shit fails, he'll go play a 100 cap room and go rock out because that's always gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of rappers they have to realize that like, like you want to give yourself the best possible shot. Like you don't have to be. It is possible to be a. It is possible to be successful and be a millionaire. I'm sorry. Let me say this correctly. You don't have to. You can. You can be successful being a professional without being a millionaire. But you'll never be a millionaire. You'll never be successful if you move like an amateur. That makes sense. And so it's
True.
like
Yeah.
for me, like even though I'm not super duper paid, I'm not Tech Nine. I'm very professional. I'm on my shit. I take care of my business on stage, booking my tours. I'm taking care of my business, and that's what allows me to do what I got to do. A lot of artists who don't take their craft seriously, they bullshit everything. They try to get by with the lowest amount of effort possible. It shows in their results. So regardless if you're trying to whatever type of music you make, be a professional. And part of your professionalism is putting your time in to make sure that you are the best you possibly be at your craft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely agree, man. This has been great, man. Before we get out of here, tell people what you got coming up next, and then drop how people can get in touch with you on the socials.
So I got two projects kind of moving in my head. I got one called the Maroon Pack. Since I've been in Tulsa, man, I have not. I put out one EP, but it's like a little short 4 song joint. But like I've recorded a lot of songs, and I kind of need to get them out of my cache so I can get back to a project. So I'm about to drop a project called the Maroon Pack, maybe like September, October. It's not a EP. It's not an album. It's kind of a collection of what I've been working on. You know what I'm saying? But they're not going to any particular project. But I kind of just need to put it out, right? Hopefully in February, I'm working on a project with a producer in Tulsa called Dilemma. I'm calling a project called The Black Dilemma. I have three different black. I have Black Soul, Black Collar, Black Messiah. Somebody called Black Dilemma. And then man, just keep rocking. Of course, I'm doing some shows, man. I'm in the process of like trying to book some shows because school is about to start, so I I can't get on the road like I want to because but definitely get back on doing some joints in hopefully St. Louis, Kansas City, Little Rock, Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas, couple places in Kansas, definitely going to Nebraska. Oh, so y'all met my DJ Chip. I have another DJ named Cut. DJ Cut Lee, and we're creating. I guess you could say it's a group, where it's the MC and two DJs, and as opposed to them like playing my music, we're gonna do like more like routines.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be more than just like how y'all saw me in Wisconsin. It's gonna be like they're gonna be set both of their turntables up, and they're gonna be going back and forth with each other, scratching and blending and mixing, and they might drop a beat. I might, you know what I'm saying? So we still trying to figure it out or whatever. But we're called a trifecta, and we're doing our first trifecta show October 11th in Fayetteville, Arkansas. See, man, just trying to like, as I get older, man, still trying to do stuff that I enjoy, that challenges me, that's still
Yeah.
fun. Cause I don't have the discography like Diku does. He got about 800 albums. I think my next project would be project number 20 since 2008. Diku put out 20 in a year. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But so yeah, so that's that, man. Just trying to like do some spot dates on the road, work on some EPs, some projects or whatever. You can find me at marcelpblack.com, marcelpblack.bandcamp.com. I'm on all streaming platforms, MARCELPBLSEK, but I don't pay shit. So if you really want to support, come to the show, buy a ticket, or go to marcelpblack.bandcamp.com, Marcel P. Black on all social medias. And if you see a fat dude wearing polo on an African chain, come fuck with me.
There it is,
Hell yeah.
man. There it is. Well, we definitely appreciate you being on here, man. This has been sponsored by CyphaDen Music, where we inspire even those higher. And remember to never stop chasing your dreams, because you will never know what you are fully capable of. Yes, yes. There it is. We're gonna end like that.
Peace, peace.
I'm Tayamu Denku. This has been the CyphaDen Chat in association with the Denku Podcast. That's my homie Pestilence down there. And we have had special guest Marcel P. Black in the building, and we appreciate you to the fullest, man. Got a lot of dope information, a lot of dope talks, a lot of dope conversation. The replay will be posted. Make sure you catch that if you were unable to catch the live. And we will catch you next week, everybody, at 8 p.m. Central Time at the CyphaDen Chat. Thank you again, Marcel P. Black.
Peace.
Peace.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Peace.